Hey everyone, it's Derek here with another video, and today we are talking about the Garmin Forerunner 735XT. And this is a long-term review because I've had this watch for about 3 years. It came out originally in 2016. It is now currently 2021. And this watch is now on Amazon, eBay, a lot of different places for only 175 bucks. So, is this the budget watch that you should be getting? And what has been my experience with this Garmin 735XT? Now, first thing I'm going to mention is the pros. So, let's go over that real quick. So, lightweight. This thing's only 40 grams, which is super nice on the wrist, and really easy, not too big. And I have really tiny wrists, so it goes on my wrist nice and easy, and it is nice and comfortable. I have to say, one of the most comfortable watches that I have ever worn. The band that they give you is small enough for small people's wrists, and it stays nice and tight on here, and I've had zero issues with this on my wrist from a comfort standpoint. This has a 5-button layout, so there's up and down, there's a light turn on, there's a start and stop, and then there's a lap timer and a back button. So 5 total buttons, but really easy to work, really functional, and nothing to complain about from that standpoint. It has advanced data metrics, so it does advanced sleep tracking. It connects with Stride foot pods, so it's able to do and connect with power. So whether you're talking about a foot pod or whether you're talking about power meter pedals, anything for your bicycle to essentially track power, it is able to do that. Additionally, it has a VO2 max indicator, so it tries to guess what that would be with using a few different algorithms. I think this is not the greatest tracker. I think it's pretty off because it does eventually go into your race predictor, and I am currently for running at a 59. I hover between a 58 and a 60 for VO2 max, and it guesses for my race predictor things that I don't think I could ever get. So just take that with a grain of salt. It does have this within your particular watch to actually give you an estimate of what you can and cannot do. In my experience, it's not very accurate, so just take that with a grain of salt. And it changes based on if you have a good run or good heart rate tracking for your run and different things like that. But I'll get into that more later. It also has the FTP, so the functional threshold, and it has a recovery advisor, which is actually pretty good. I think having that is nice, but that also goes to the heart rate monitor too on the wrist, which it does have, which is nice to have, but again, we'll go into that a little more later. One of the major things about this watch is it's a triathlon watch. It's a multi-sport watch. It specifies, again, up to 14 hours of battery life in GPS mode. In smartwatch mode, it's up to 11 days, and then in Ultra Track, it's up to 24 hours without the wrist heart rate. So those are the specs on there. Talking a little bit more, it also has, for the advanced data metrics, it also has lactate threshold. So talking about the triathlon features, it does have open water swimming. It won't track your heart rate while you're doing open water swims, which is kind of a bummer, but we'll get a little bit more into that as well. But it does have the triathlon feature, which allows you to do just 1-button presses for the transitions. So let's say you're starting your triathlon, you start the watch, it tracks your open water swim. Once you get out of the water and past that T1 and you hit the watch, then it starts tracking your transition 1, and then you go to the bike, and then you hit it again and it starts your bike, which is super cool. And in addition to that, it does connect with the rest of the Garmin devices, so it is able to connect. I have a Garmin Edge 130, so it is able to emulate what is on my watch onto the actual bike computer. So really cool and super seamless for that. It also has our Connect IQ, so you can change the watch faces. You can add additional metrics like power zones for your Stride foot pod, which I've added to this as well. And I think overall, this watch has the Garmin ecosystem, which is nice. It allows you to add gear now, and so you can track your shoes and the mileage on your shoes. It has all the data on your calendar app, and then you can look at it on your laptop or your desktop or what have you, and you can see the metrics and filter with your calendar to see how many hours of actual progress you've made and workouts you've done. So that's really something that's really nice too. So obviously this is a GPS watch, so you're going to want to know about accuracy, right? This watch is pretty accurate. I wouldn't say it's flawless in that department, but it's pretty accurate. I would say 80 to 90% of the time it is spot on, and it's really, you take that with a grain of salt because it depends where you live. It has the ability to add GPS and GLONASS, which is nice, and overall the tracking is really good. So really no complaints on the GPS accuracy. It also has had consistent updates. So as I mentioned, this was a product created in 2016. It's been continuously getting updates, over-the-air updates, which is really nice that they're continuously supporting and pushing updates to this watch. So the other thing that I mentioned is that it's $175. So again, it's $175. It's really nice and cheap for all the features that you're getting. But again, we're going to go into the cons of this. So what are the cons of this watch? Battery life. I mentioned that you're supposed to get up to 14 hours of battery life, or you can get up to 14 hours of battery life. And thinking about that, that's real nice and all, but if you're thinking about this from a triathlon multi-sport watch, 14 hours, and you can think of this many different ways. So think of 14 hours and you're thinking triathlon race. You could do a sprint, you can do a half Ironman, but some people can't do a full Ironman in that time. So I would want this to be able to do that. Now, if you get up to the 14 hours, then you would most likely get that covered, but my experience with this is the max battery life that I would get is about 5 hours. And keep in mind that's with the heart rate monitor on, and that's possibly connected to power pedals, and it's also me setting the watch to the data recording to 1 second intervals. Because if you set that to smart, then the GPS accuracy becomes less and less accurate. So keep that in mind when we talk about this. Battery life is not very good on this device, and I wouldn't expect over 5 hours. So in that, that would probably not get me through a half Ironman. So when I think about triathlons, I don't really think about this watch as being a good triathlon watch because I'm quite worried that it's going to run out of battery before that. So another con is the price when new. So if you look at this product and you try to buy brand new and not like refurbished or from Amazon with some of the used battery, you'll get even less battery than what I have. So it's possible for you to get less battery. So I would just keep that in mind. If you're somebody who's planning on doing something over 3 hours, or doesn't like recharging it all the time, then I would probably steer clear of this device and think of something that was created a little bit more recent, closer to 2021 because of the battery life. Now, another downside of this watch is no barometric altimeter. So what does that mean? That means it uses the GPS map that it gives you. So you know, if it's off or anything like that, then it won't track correctly the elevation that you gained. So that's, and you know, this could be good or bad. Sometimes barometric altimeters are not the most accurate, or sometimes they get clogged with something, or sometimes water gets into them, so then they don't read correctly. So keep that in mind. This one does not come with a barometric altimeter, and for the price, really, the starting price of like $350, I really thought it should have a barometric altimeter. Another con, the heart rate monitor accuracy. In my experience, I haven't seen this as very good. I've seen it off by 15 to 20 beats per minute, and that is ridiculously high. And I'm comparing this to my Wahoo ticker, which essentially straps to my arm, and it's been tried and true and very, very steady and accurate, seemingly. And when comparing these two during the same run, I really don't see a very good accuracy. When I'm not trying at all, it's reading really high, and then it builds over time. So like it starts off really, really low, so like in the 140s, and then it gets up to like 180 when I'm doing a nice and easy run. So it's very interesting to see that, and I'm pretty sure it's not very accurate when it comes to heart rate monitor. And then getting into the smart features, it's not super smart. It doesn't have the ability to reply to text messages, and it only displays the messages to you. You are able to answer your phone calls, but you know, you're not able to not have certain notifications sent to your watch. All the notifications from your phone will go through your watch unless you turn it off. So yeah, that's really it, and that's really nitpicking. Again, you know, I think the only reason that I would get rid of this watch is, or the only reason I am getting rid of this watch is because of the battery life. I'm doing a half Ironman event, and I'm thinking, you know, over 5.5 hours, or over 5 hours for sure. So, you know, I want to make sure that the battery lasts and is able to track the entire thing. So, yeah, overall though, it's a great watch if you're looking for something that's under $200, and if you're looking for something that is for, you know, sprint or Olympic triathlons, or, you know, if you're fast, then, you know, half Ironmans. But yeah, really good watch overall. I can't really complain too much. This is just overall nitpicking with stuff, and you know, this is a pretty good watch to pick up if you're looking for a budget one. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, if you like the content, make sure, you know, you like the video and you subscribe for more good content like this. Yeah, if you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.